Hi and welcome to the Cloaked Hedgehog's YouTube channel. Today I'm going to continue to tell you some of the sightings that are on my Dogman Sightings map, and today we're doing Maine. This story comes from the FRO, Dogman Field Research Organization, at dogmanresearch.com. I have a sighting to report. My old neighbor, who committed suicide shortly after his experience, came to me with this. We were both registered Maine guides, hunting, fishing, recreation. Guiding in Maine is a serious business. The criteria are strict and guides are expert woodsmen with years of outdoors experience. Anyway, he confided in me about this sighting. He was hunting his own property during deer season of 2011. The property is located on the Jefferson-Washington town lines, which are also the Knox-Lincoln County lines in Maine. The particular property is a Christmas tree farm and is private property. My friend was watching a run where deer regularly traveled, cutting through his property. He observed for about a minute a bipedal creature walking, with its upper body well above the Christmas trees. It had a wolf's head, was muscular and covered in hair, but walking like a man. At the end of the sighting, the creature dropped to all fours and took off down the run. He was shaking when he told me the story, and based upon my few years working in law enforcement, I don't believe he was lying. Both of us guided for bear hunters at the time, and I know he was very familiar with bears and Maine wildlife in general. He made a particular emphasis on the pointed ears. He said it looked like a werewolf. In Maine, people do see these things and generally call them wendigo. After that sighting, I carried a firearm going to my barn at night. I am certain that he told me the truth. Unfortunately, for some reason he committed suicide shortly after he told me about the sighting, which was very fresh at the time. The area has some large tracts of wood with very limited access due to private property. There's a stream passing through the area and some high ridges. Also, old cellar holes and stone walls are scattered throughout the forest behind the property. Food sources are plentiful in the area, with old apple trees, berry patches, deer, turkey, snowshoe hares. Bears are present in the area, but not in huge numbers. Moose are also present, but again, not in huge numbers. This report comes from CryptonMundo.com. I've been playing with the dogs outside around dusk. The sun was below the tree line, but there was still plenty of light to see by, and I went in to use the bathroom. My husband had been fiddling with a guitar, but wandered into the bathroom looking like he wanted to say something. He was pale and sweaty and kind of staring into space, so I was naturally concerned. He wouldn't tell me what was wrong at first, but I finally got out of him that he had seen a huge black wolf walk by the window. I told him it must have been a bear, knowing that there aren't supposed to be wolves around here, and that the window was too high for any canine on 4 legs to walk in front of. He said no, but whatever it was, I didn't want the dogs messing with it, so I ran back outside. They were still wrestling in the side yard, obviously, so it was easy to get them back in, and then I had a look around. I didn't see any animal or sign, but noted that the window was even higher than I thought. When I went back in, my husband described what he had seen as a black bipedal wolf. He said the snout and ears were wolf-like, but that it had yellow eyes that reminded him more of a cat. I measured the window, and the bottom of it is 6 feet off the ground. So for anything's head and torso to pass by it from where he was standing, the animal would have to be more like 7 feet tall. One of our dogs is tall enough if he stood up on his hind legs, but we'd never seen him do that on his own, and he's blue-gray with floppy ears and brown eyes. There aren't any huge black circus dogs on my road that I know of. My husband is very skeptical of anything not accepted by the scientific community, but still insists it wasn't a black bear he saw. He concluded that he must have hallucinated the whole thing. 2 weeks later, around the same time of day, my husband saw the same animal, This time he was close to the window and the animal was further away, running out through a weird stand of red pine that has a sparse understory. He still doesn't believe it was real, even after seeing it a second time. And then, not sure if this is related, about a week after that I was gardening and my husband comes up back calling for me, really shook up again. He said he was sitting in his computer chair and thought I was standing over his shoulder. He said when he looked up it was a black form, like a shadow person. He jumped and it was gone, but it scared the crap out of him. He wanted me to come inside and keep an eye on him, because he was afraid it meant he was having a stroke or something. It is possible that this shadow person could have some kind of connection to the Dogman sighting. There is a type of dogmen that do on occasion, not often, but occasionally appear inside people's homes. And this type of dogman has this translucent quality about it and seems to be much less physical. And it could be possible that this is connected. This next story comes from the Unexplained Mysteries forum. I was talking with my friend at the university I was attending in central Maine. The dorm rooms were really hot and we agreed that we needed some sort of distraction from homework. So we decided to go down for a walk by the Sandy River. We'd gone down there fairly often before, but never this late, I don't think. It was around 11 p.m. I remember it being a really clear night, fairly beautiful. I guess it was just the heaters in our rooms that were the problem, because the night itself was actually quite cool. Anyway, we walked along from the dorms to the field, where we found the trail that led toward the river. Immediately once we reached the path, I had a feeling that we were being watched. I didn't mention this to my friend. Nonetheless, we walked on, taking a seat on the grass at the edge of the river. We talked for about 10 or 15 minutes. The whole time I had the same feeling as described before, only now it was turning into a feeling of dread. It was then that we started to hear something. It sounded like a large animal moving through the bushes, about 50 feet to the left of where we were sitting. Naturally, I asked my friend if she heard it. She replied that she did. We both sat quiet, waiting for another sound. When we didn't hear anything after about a minute, I turned to talk to her again. Before I even got a word out, something ran out of the bushes and across the field behind us, disappearing into the woods on the other end of the field, to our right. It was a tall, lean animal, definitely running very fast on two legs. Its head was most definitely canine though, and the eyes were yellow and shining very brightly. It was one of the most shocking experiences I've ever had. After that, we really didn't know what to do or what we had seen, so we got out of there as fast as we could. I called it a werewolf because, to me, that's exactly what it looked like. It wasn't until very recently that I finally found the confirmation I needed. I was idly browsing in the bookstore and came across Mysterious Legends and Phenomena, Werewolves by Linda Godfrey. I had heard about the Beast of Bray Road and knew Godfrey was the leading researcher on that and most related sightings, so I thought if anyone had any insight it would be her. This is from page 96 of that book. The prospective creature hunter should also study likely habitats of the intended target. In the case of the man-wolf, it's almost always seen close to some body of water. It appears to follow rivers and is often spotted near marshes. Reading this sent a chill down my spine. I am now certain that what we saw was a werewolf. Really have to love Linda Godfrey. I researched everything about werewolves since I was 5. But it wasn't until Linda's books that I learned that people actually do see these things now in this day and age. There was also an incident near Palmyra in 2011 that Linda Godfrey wrote about in Real Wolfmen, True Encounters in Modern America. It was also picked up by Paranormal Witness, Season 3, Episode 9, The Wolf Pack, I'm including a link where you can watch that episode. The link works today at least, but no guarantees for the future. I've also included a link to Linda Godfrey's author page on Amazon, so you can pick up her books and learn a lot about this. There are many more Dogman sightings all over the world on my Dogman map, so I've included a link to the map and also a link to my blog and other necessary things. So that's it for today, and you can subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos, and take care, and I'll see you next time.